I'm pleased today to announce our comprehensive transportation plan. It's called FAST, which stands for FAST, Flexible, Affordable, Smart Transportation. Before going into our PowerPoint and showing you some detail on the plan, I want to introduce, first of all, a couple of the engineers who really played a big part in this. First, Sam Kaleo, who was Frank Foss's chief engineer. Sam and I went to Los Angeles along with some others to take a look at the Orange Line. And of course, Professor Panos Provoderos from the University of Hawaii, who has been also very, very important help to us in developing this plan. Now, there's some other people who were involved in developing the plan. Our Truth Squad, some of them are here. Stan Shiraki from Eileen Anderson's administration was responsible for dealing with the financial aspects of our plan. And there's some other engineers who help, but they're not here today because they have jobs. And if they were here today, they'd be here in disguise. So, okay. So let me start with FAST. First, we're going to cover these different portions of FAST. So transit bus, express bus, rapid transit, Leeward and Central Oahu, this is the regional part of our plan. Then there will be the College Express BRT connecting the University of Hawaii at Manoa, HPU, HCC, and everything else in between. And then we're going to show you our proposal for lanes utilizing contraflow to accommodate rush hour traffic. Some of this can be done fairly quickly. And show you our proposal for short underpasses at critical points in the downtown traffic to reduce congestion in the downtown area. And finally, we'll cover traffic signal synchronization. I'd rather use the word optimization. I think that's better. And traffic management approaches used not only by us, but also other states. It's incredible the development of technology and techniques in other states that we should be adopting to help ease traffic congestion here. Now this shows you a basic view of what the major corridors of West Oahu looks like, and also Honolulu. Here you see there is an existing AM zipper lane established by my administration when I was governor. And then Governor Abercrombie is going to now establish a PM zipper lane. These two zipper lanes will be important in our proposal. On the bottom there, in the little checkered blue marks, is the reversible Nimitz flyover. This is actually a state project that's pretty much ready to go. I hate to say it, but when I was governor, I didn't do it. But times have changed, and the neighborhoods have changed. This project is important for our plan in the future, because basically it really deals with the bottleneck in that area. Now, it's a state project, but I'm going to propose to Governor Abercrombie that the city share in the cost. The city and the state, this can be a joint venture, and I think that he'll be very open to the idea. Now, our plan includes quite a few express bus routes. The list there you see on the menu, 1 to 8. Well, number 1, Country Express C, is now in operation, of course. It's been in operation for a while, and it delivers pretty good travel time. Number 4, Waipahu Express is in operation also. But Kapolei number 2, Eva Express number 3, Mililani Express number 5, Waiawa Express number 6, and number 7 is the Aloha Stadium Express, bus on the shoulder, BRT. And number 8 is the College Express that we talked about earlier. You will notice that unlike rail, this system serves many more areas not served by rail. And in particular, I think number 3 is important. That's Fort Weaver Road, and that's Ever Beach. Mililani has one express bus. We will, put more on there to serve the people out there. Now, I think it's important that you understand how we want the express buses to work. They'll circulate in their respective areas. There'll be a transit station to pick people up there, and then once they get on the road, they're not going to stop until they get to their destination. And that's the definition of an express bus. So those who say, well, all these buses downtown will be lined up one after the other like elephants in a circus holding the tails, that's not going to be the case at all. These things will be spread out going to different directions. There are 2 articles that I want you to take a look at. First, this came out in the Wall Street Journal, and it talks about the commute of the future. And basically, the thrust of the article is making the buses like trains. I've used this example before, that when you look at a bus rapid transit bus, imagine a giant Prius, electric powered, looks like, a rail car, low to the ground, traveling on a dedicated lane on rubber tire. So now we have this article from the Wall Street Journal. We can provide you guys with a copy of it. And then look at the chart, the explosive growth of BRT worldwide, not just in the United States. Actually, in the U.S., we're kind of far behind. This system began in Curitiba, Brazil, and interestingly, when we went to Los Angeles to talk to the officials there, they mentioned that how they got about to building the Orange Line, which is very successful in Los Angeles. They had heard about bus rapid transit being developed in Curitiba, Brazil. And so, while initially the Los Angeles people were thinking about building a rail extension to their red line, which is the rail line, they became interested in BRT. So they sent some people down, they came back pretty enthusiastic. Instead of building the rail extension, they built BRT. 14 miles for about $300 million. Actually, the projected cost was $362, but they came in $62 million under budget. And so the concept of BRT is just been exploding everywhere, and the U.S. now is beginning to sweep the country. I noticed that Chad Blair is here from Civil Beat. I want to thank Civil Beat because prior to these articles coming out, I don't think people here knew what BRT even looked like. I think the public here were led to believe that BRT would just be like the regular buses. It is not. And I don't sell subscriptions to Civil Beat, but I suggest you guys go take a look at the fact check that they did on my statement. I had made a statement that BRT is sweeping the country, and they fact checked the thing. They came up with some good quotes from Ray LaHood and FTA, all indicating how even the FTA and the federal government feel about BRT. So take a look at that, and thank you, Civil Beat. However, you should have rated that true, not mostly true. Okay.
And then Minnesota.
Okay. One of the proposals we made was bus on the shoulder, and those of you who watched the debates and or came to the forums, you noticed that my opponents tried to make fun of this. Bus on the shoulder. What about the cars turning right and all of that? Well, here's an example of bus on the shoulder, and the way they deal with these things is that a car can get into the lane only if it wants to turn right. Okay, you go to LA, then you see the markings on the lane. It says bus only, cars turning right. That's how they deal with it. Or the bus can go around. So this is how bus on the shoulder has grown in miles in Minnesota. Started with 66 miles in 1995, and now Minnesota, as of 2008, has 292 miles. The point of in all of this is that this is not very expensive to do, and it can be done. But you know, you need people in office who have open minds to new developments. Okay, now here's a bus on the shoulder proposal. This would have been number 7 on the list of express buses, and basically, this bus there will be parking at Aloha Stadium. You have to work this out with the state. Talk to the state. Okay, so that Aloha Stadium would be a park and a ride. This is basically for people living in the Aiea Pearl City area who want to take a bus. So the bus will start from Aloha Stadium, and then goes down Mauna Loa freeway, and up on the on-ramp to King Street. And at some point it'll turn around, and that'll be Alakia Street, right?
Right.
Alakia Street, and make the circuit again, okay? And that's a bus on the shoulder proposal. Rail will not serve the University of Hawaii. I mean, you know, there's no EIS that shows it, no design, no funding. But our College Express proposal, we think, can provide benefits for people in that area. This is a proposal that basically is a pilot, okay? And it's going to rely on limited priority green at intersections, which means that the buses will have a transponder of some kind. And as it approaches the intersection, the sensors will tell the traffic light whether it should continue to be green or not to let the bus through. That'll help speed up things. We'll try this for maybe about 6 months, Manos? 6 months. Get some data, and if it works, if it's effective, then we'll do an EIS and make it permanent. Now, I think what this is significant about bus rapid transit is that it shows the flexibility of the system. If this thing doesn't work, we try something else. Oh, this is the College Express bus route, and it covers the 3 schools: HCC, HPU, and UH. These are photos from our visit to LA. You see the BRT vehicle on the left-hand side. Really kind of looks like a train in many ways. And on the top photo are display boards which show the route and give the visitor a great deal of information. I have a point to pick with the photographer, because that's me. I would have sucked in my stomach if you told me you're taking a picture. And in the bottom, you probably will never guess. Those are bicycle lockers. Yeah. Bicycle lockers. People can lock their bicycles in that facility. Okay, here are some photos showing the orange line again. You see the bus on the bottom. A lot of information being given to the public with display signs, and the machines there. You buy your ticket from these machines. So when you get on the bus, there's no contact really between you and the driver. And you see the inside of the bus. It looks very much like a train, you know. Okay, now we're going to talk about fast lanes, and I'm going to turn this over to Professor Provoderos, because he had a big role in developing this.
Okay, this is our plan for really improving traffic in our city. And we know that, of course, the biggest problem is particularly from the west side coming into Honolulu. So this is where we focus the corridor, essentially from the H1, H2 merge to downtown. Specifically, this is the existing situation of how many lanes we have. It's a fair number of lanes, but they are not obviously sufficient for the traffic we have, because there is a big backlog every day. So the question is, can we improve on that in a very affordable and doable way? And here is the plan. We have 4 major thoroughfares, the Nimitz Highway, which already the governor mentioned about the Nimitz Viaduct, Dillingham Boulevard, where we can put contraflow, it's a city street, King Street between Middle Street and Liliha, The only disadvantage of King Street right now is that it's basically a 6-lane arterial, but it has various 2-3 times of 4 and 5 lane chokers. We want to go through and take away these jettisons that they come in, it's mostly parking lots, not buildings, and make it a throughway of 6 lanes. Then we can clearly take 1 lane exclusive for the Bus on Shoulder Express from Aloha Stadium. So it's a very doable project. And the red line we show there is a project that is going out to bid from the Abercrombie administration, making a 4th lane available from the Middle Street merge as an exit, 2nd lane exit to the Vineyard Boulevard. Now, if you sum all these things up, you see that the situation is getting substantially better. On the top, 1 lane gain on the H1, up to 2 lane gains on King Street, 1 lane gain in the AM, and then in the PM we'll see on Dillingham. And then if we build a 2.2 mile Nimitz viaduct, there is another 2 lane gain net, which results in an awesome capacity increase of 55%. I mean, I really would be very interesting to see what the other side can come up with a 55% capacity increase. It's really very large, and it's even better, at least in proportion, in the afternoon. You gain 60% capacity by taking these measures of essentially adding up to 5 lanes within the existing right-of-way. This is not, except for Limis Viaduct, there is no double decking or anything outside the city right-of-way on Dillingham Boulevard and King Street. Very easy things to do, and you know the contraflow, we're very familiar of doing that. It's identical to what we do on Kapiolani Boulevard. We have 6 lanes and we manage it 4-2 in the peak direction. That's what we're talking about. Very easy to deploy for the most part. And this is a summary that when you check this on the web, you can check our numbers and how we came up to this awesome capacity increase, because it will solve a significant part of our difficulty in coming to town. In addition, we have several underpasses that they will serve also and make it easier the eastbound traffic, particularly on Kapiolani Boulevard. So let's look at them in a little bit of detail. Let's focus on the Kapiolani corridor. And we can make Kapiolani into what is called limited super street by putting 2 lanes under significant and very congested intersections. The first one is at Date Street, where Iolani is. The next one is at Makali, and the third one is at Kalakaua. So flow will be much faster coming into town and out of town. And as you can see there, beyond that point, we do not need to improve Kapiolani in any substantial way, because it splits in 2 and there is a lot of capacity on Atkinson Drive and on Kapiolani. So it's a win-win situation with 3 underpasses. And those are underpasses that we have very extensive experience in other places. Most famously, of course, DuPont Circle in our capital, Washington, D.C. Similar underpass in Abu Dhabi, but the most suitable ones is the ones that I photographed, like one in Seoul. The picture from Seoul is pretty much the plan we have for Honolulu. Only 2 lanes. One going this way, the other the opposite way. We don't need more. Our amount of traffic is not that heavy, and 1 lane per direction will do it. Now, if you can see the screen there is computer simulation of the underpass at Kapiolani, Date, and Kamoku. That's the base situation. Look at all the cars piled up, which you experience every morning coming from Hawaii Kai or Kahala. You pile up 4 lanes solid on Kapiolani Boulevard. Jammed at that intersection. Put in 1 lane underpass, and look at the same amount of traffic has been reduced by 1/3. And this is really a direct solution to traffic congestion. Talking about traffic lights, this is a picture that I took in one of the smaller towns, 5 million people, in China. Chinese are very proud of showing that they can synchronize and optimize the traffic lights. This is what we engineers call bandwidth. You have 1 minute of green. Keep driving down the street. You have 60 seconds to go down Nanjing Avenue. We don't have that. Every 3 or 4 traffic lights, you will hit a red. We can do that. If Chinese can do it, we can do it the same. And I'm very glad that Ben actually visited LA because it has a very sophisticated traffic signal system that we can learn a lot from. And if you go to the website of the Federal Highway Administration, it clearly says that the cost benefit of investing in traffic lights can be as high as 1 to 40. You spend 1 million, you can get 40 million in benefits, which is saving fuel and saving time for the people. We have a problem with traffic management in this city. We have fallen way behind. Look at the column of how much traffic management infrastructure we have, and look how much Seattle, Tacoma has in Washington State. It's apples and oranges. They are working in multiple dimensions of serving their traffic and doing a lot of information for their traffic, informing their drivers how to reroute, how to control their speeds. We have none of this. But we have a lot of good practice examples from elsewhere that we can apply locally. And these are not very expensive because, you know, computer and intelligent equipment is not really very expensive. And this is a picture that Ben's team took when they visited the LA Control Center where they monitor the traffic lights. Traffic signals are so easy to control these days that you can actually do it out of a laptop if you get your act straight. So it is not really rocket science. Finally, I want to conclude with this, with my portion, just by showing you this graph, which is again from Washington State. It's official data from their Washington DOT of the growth that they had in van pool and telework. And you might think that there is nothing awesome about this. It's just 2% and 3%. But I would like to remind you, but if you go to the rail FEIS, you will see there in black and white that roughly speaking, the bus today carries 6% of the trips. After we finish the rail, the bus and the rail combined will be 7%. So the rail will provide a 1% gain. Look at what these folks did with telework and van pools. 5% total for very, very low cost for the government and the taxpayer. So really that is a powerful alternative we have for small reductions in traffic. And Ben, back to you.
Thank you, Panos. Now, here are some of the things that, as mayor, I will be concentrating on. This is basically stuff that's going to happen in the future. For example, staggered hours. When I was lieutenant governor, we did a staggered hour program, and I thought it was fairly successful. When I'm mayor, we will try to do the same thing. Flex time work schedules, done in other places. Los Angeles, they are on a 4-day work week. Those are the kind of things that we will try. Now, also, there are developments. Right now, you can go to Google and read about these things. For example, I don't know how many of you have seen on YouTube Google's driverless car. It's an incredible video. It basically shows a person getting into the car and, you know, not driving at all, just being a passenger. Goes down to a fast food store. The guy orders something. I think it went to the doctor next. And when it's all over, it took him back to his home. The guy stepped out and he was blind. This is the future, and it's going to be maybe 15, 20 years from now. But when these things happen, it's going to make the car much more attractive and harder to take people out of their cars, and it's going to make very difficult to make changes with a system like rail, which is so rigid and inflexible. Electric cars charged by lanes, that's already on the horizon. So there are many things that I think we can do to ease traffic congestion, and there are many things that are going to happen in the future that will help ease traffic congestion. With the system that we have, if things develop in the future, there are technology developments which are effective in dealing with traffic congestion, we can make changes with a bus system, with other kinds of the other kind of things that we're doing. So let's take a look at fast versus rail. So unlike heavy rail, it'll take more than 10 years to build. My own chances that it'll probably take 15 to 20 years to build, but say 10 years to build, we can begin working with FAST to reduce traffic congestion in less than 6 months. Now, not everything that you saw in the presentation will be done in 6 months, of course. It'll be done in stages, but there are things that we can do in 6 months that will help ease traffic congestion. Our system is for everyone, you know. It goes to Ever Beach, not served by rail. Wahewa, Mililani, all those places are not served by rail. Our system serves the people there. And our system, of course, enhances and boosts our top-rated bus system today. We have the best bus system in the nation, awarded, receiving that award 2 years in a row, and I think we still have one of the best. So again, it's flexible, affordable, 1/5 the cost of rail, is smart, able to adapt to new and development technologies. And our goal is to reduce commuter time on Oahu from 29 to 25 minutes for everyone. And with that, it's the end of our presentation.